You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
What's up, boxing world? What's going on? You're now rocking with Ring Kings Boxing. That's right, Ring Kings Boxing on the PRO Media Network podcast. 318 on the podcast. Ring Kings is going down in a major capacity. And on the line, we got our boxing expert and Ring King contributor, Eddie Too Mean Johnson. What's going on, Too Mean?
Yeah, what's good?
Everything, my man. We talking boxing, and usually on Ring Kings, we've been away for a little bit, but we're good to be back at it as we retool, going into a whole new year of boxing here, man. And some exciting fights, man, that started the year off for 2019 with a bang. We're gonna start the show off speaking about Adrian Broner versus Manny Pacquiao. Now, to me, we watched this fight, man, and we previewed this fight, and we basically broke it down, and we said what Adrian Broner had to do to get this fight. Now, he's fighting a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao who's not nearly as sharp as he used to be, nearly not, with those cat-like reflexes. He's a seasoned fighter right now, but still 40 years old. Adrian Broner had a really good opportunity here to kind of build himself back up to a championship level. Once again, his non-disciplinary ways and just allow him to sink into a position where he couldn't truly seize the moment. Before I get into some of these punch stats and some more information on the fight, what was your perception on Adrian Broner and Manny Pacquiao's bout?
It's the same thing with Adrian Broner. He just refused to let his hands go, man. I don't think that he can let his hands go like he used to. I mean, because I'm like, every fight is like, he never let his hands go enough. He waits till the last minute to try to pull it off. Well, I was like, man, it's like he just giving the fights away or something. He just, he don't have no bullets in the gun. He can't, he can't shoot nothing, man. And to me, that's a shot fighter and shit, man. To me, in my opinion, that's a shot fighter. I mean, you see all the openings, you don't take them. It's like you want to be in defense mode, like, you letting the other guy constantly throwing punches at you and hit you, but you're not throwing nothing back. And everybody knows that nothing wins fights more than throwing punches, man. It's like, if you're trying to win, you're going to be throwing punches. You ain't throwing enough. So you ain't trying to win. Either that, or you shot, man. So yeah, we talked about that, man, before we previewed the fight. Said that's the main thing. He got to let his hands go. He was on an interview with ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, who interviewed him, and Stephen A. basically just said what we said, which was, the word on the street is you don't let your hands go enough. And Adrian Broner basically told Stephen A. Smith, it's not about how many punches you throw, it's about what kind of punches you throw, which is true in a sense, but still in all, that's a lazy man. I ain't gonna say lazy man, but it's just the arrogance of what Adrian Broner represents. It's just not enough discipline. It's still that cocky play style mentality. He doesn't have enough discipline to turn on that workman where all of the flash and the razzle dazzle bull crap goes away and he becomes a championship fighter. I mean, this is this third straight loss, and you called it before when we called him a shot fighter. You was the one that said he was a shot fighter, and I kind of challenged you on it. But I mean, if you look at it, this is exactly what he's doing. He's well known for starting extremely slow. He takes too much abuse, and he counts on the officials to save his ass. And ultimately, this time around, it didn't work. You look at the punch stats, the final punch stats here, and basically what it was Manny Pacquiao 112 out of 568 total punches, 20% completion rating. Broner 50 out of 295. Let me repeat that. Broner 50 out of 295.
That's what kind of junk I'm talking about when you're dealing with Adrian Broner. That's the total punch stats. Now the jabs 11 out of 115 for 10%. This is Broner stats now. 39 of 180 was his power punches for a 22% connect percentage. Now balance those numbers versus with Pacquiao. True, jabs 30 out of 371 for 8%. Power punches were 82 out of 197 for 42% versus Broner's 22% connect. So 42% for Pacquiao as far as the power punch, and 22 out of Broner. Once again, 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao was good enough to take down Adrian Broner. And what can I tell you, man? What can I tell you? We called it here on Ring Kings. Adrian Broner has to go back to the drawing board, no doubt about it. But my thing is, I'm not never gonna call a man and say that he's washed up, because I still think he has some talent. But Adrian Broner's biggest enemy is Adrian Broner. He need to shut up. He need to change and reshape and change his image. He need to get more disciplined, get more serious about the trade, come out, get rid of all the razzle dazzle and the foolishness, the club appearances, and take it seriously. Take it more seriously than when he's been doing it. Do I think he'll be able to do it? Absolutely not. Because in his head, he's a champion, and you're supposed to be a champion, yeah, but he just, in reality, you know, he's just what he is. He was a good champion when he had it. He was an entertaining guy, but Adrian Broner's washed up in my opinion. He'll never again obtain a belt. He had his biggest opportunity against a 40-year-old Pacquiao, and this Pacquiao just made short work of him because he was not good enough. He just wasn't good enough. This is Adrian Broner's no longer good on that elite level anymore. So that's my take. You coincide with that take, Fast Eddie?
Yeah. Until he proves otherwise, it's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? It stands, man.
As it stands, there it is. So Adrian Broner, get your shit together, man. Bottom line. Going on to the next issue now on Ring Kings, we're gonna finish talking about some of these fights. Keith Thurman, one-time Thurman, Keith Thurman versus Jolito Lopez. Fast said it. This was another one, man. Split decision, ultimately going to, guess who? Thurman. 22-month layoff from dealing with that injury. Came back here. I have to give him credit because he faced Jolito Lopez, and Jolito Lopez, a lot of people thought he was going to come in there and be one of those kind of boxers that just, you know, that just gets beat up on, and Keith Thurman just works his way back into championship level. But this Lopez kid wasn't afraid of anything Keith Thurman was throwing at him. He walked pretty much head first and face first into Keith Thurman any chance he had. Nothing Keith Thurman threw at him it didn't scare him enough to keep him away. He constantly punched through Keith Thurman's punches, and even though Thurman was sharp at certain intervals, was able to slide, move, and connect. But Jolito Lopez, I mean, I have to give him credit. This kid put on a really good performance and almost hit Keith Thurman with some shots, some body shots, some straights, some hooks that really made me say, wow, man, this dude came to fight. And even much pushed it to the point that one of the judges called it 113 to 113. So what's your take on the Keith Thurman versus Jolito Lopez bout?
Yeah, well, Keith Thurman, he said it was going to be a hard fight. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I say, that dude, he came to win. He ain't come there to be coming out of from a layoff like warm-up fight. He ain't no warm-up fighter. He came to win that. He's a championship fighter, man. He showed it in that fight. Keith Thurman got the decision, but the dude won the fight. You know what I'm saying? In the fans' eyes, because you know what I'm saying, he was the underdog, and he put on that performance like he did. Had Keith Thurman hurt, even though he touched the canvas once. But that dude came to fight, man. He was laying some nice hooks on Keith one-time Thurman.
What do you think about Keith one-times? You know, coming off of that long layoff, of course. He had a fight. He hadn't fought for a while. He had a lot of ring rust on him. Based on that fight, you think he's going in the right direction here? Did he show enough in the fight to you to warrant that he's able to still compete at that welterweight championship level?
Yeah, we'll see in his next fight. You know what I'm saying there should be no excuses and no ring rust now. He should have all that out that last fight. But like I say, he's not one of those. He showed that he's not really a top welterweight like a Mayweather or Pacquiao or like De La Hoya and stuff like that. Because when they laid off for a long time, they looked mad sharp. You know what I'm saying? They looked really sharp for them to lay off like that. Keith Thurman didn't really look too sharp like that. Although he was getting caught with stuff that he shouldn't have been getting caught with, man. So his sharpness wasn't there. So you know what I'm saying? I don't think that had nothing to do with ring rust because like say Mayweather. Well, you know what I'm saying? He's a whole nother level though. But still, he didn't get hit as much after all the long layoff, man. He still as sharp as he was, as if he was still active, man. Same thing with Pacquiao and De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? But Keith Thurman not on that level. He still got more to prove too. He talking about Terrence Crawford ain't proved nothing yet, but he hasn't proved nothing yet neither.
Yeah, Keith Thurman, to me, I mean, after he got his injury, of course, he's going to work himself back into shape when he's on top of his game. He's clearly one of the better fighters in the class, but the whole debate, like we talked about, the needing to get these guys together, then, you know, guys get belts and then want to run off and fight, not mandatory, but voluntaries, guys at the bottom, outside of the top 10 of the welters. They want to challenge these guys to, you know, make an easy title defense up against a lesser known fighter, and shame on them for doing that. That's what I thought, you know, Sean Porter would be better than that, but taking a lesser fight as opposed to, you know, getting the belt and obviously fighting one of the top people in the class, you know. But, you know, I have to give Errol Spence at least some credit for taking on a guy like Mikey Garcia, because that's not going to be an easy fight, even though I think Errol think he can get the best of him because, you know, Mikey's a smaller fighter compared to him. But that is going to be a difficult fight no matter how you slice it. Terrence Crawford's taking on Amir Khan. We'll cover that news later on in the show as well. So that's a congratulations, Terrence Crawford finally stepping up. And that maybe a lot of people know about Terrence Crawford in the boxing game, but he's not a celebrity. His celebrities hasn't reached to the levels of an international guy like Amir Khan, who's known across continents. Even though, you know, some of the pugilists follow a guy like Terrence Crawford, who in your opinion, is one of the best fighters out there. So, I mean, there are a few guys out there that's beating down the block, you know, trying to get in, you know, that trying to make their names known. But yes, man, at the end of the day, turned out to be something. But big ups to Josito Lopez, man. Keep your head up. That was a tough loss for Josito, man, but he really walked toe-to-toe and showed me something. But he didn't respect the power. He didn't respect one time's power at all, man. He was leading with his head for much of the night. He obviously felt like Thurman couldn't hit him with anything that was going to hurt. And had it been some guy with power, like a guy like Errol Spence, he'd have been done in 5-6 rounds because he had no defense. He was just all his face and everything was open. If you had a fighter with power, he would have smashed Josito Lopez. But whatever Thurman had, it wasn't hurting him. But let's go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, he was determined to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? He was fighting. He made the fight in a way where he knew you know what I'm saying, he had a better chance of winning. Instead of trying to outbox him or whatever, he was trying to just go at him and just go blow for blow. That was his best chance of winning. That's what he executed, man.
It almost worked. Judges, one of the judges ruled in his favor, but unfortunately 2 others didn't. You look at some of the final punch stats in that fight, and total punches thrown to the body by Thurman was 247 out of 899. Wow, 27% connect percentage on the total punches to the body. Lopez was 117 out of 513. That's for 22, almost 23%. Total jabs landed, 15% of the jabs landed, 79 out of 527. Josito Lopez was 17 out of 156 for 11%. And then the power punches is where it's a huge disparity. As one time 168 of 372 for 45% versus Josito Lopez is 100 out of 357 for 28%. So ultimately, the judges in a split right there, giving it to one-time Thurman. He retains his belt. Now moving to the next recap, we're going to talk about Sergey Kovalov and Alvarez. Now, of course, 6 months ago, these 2 fighters met up, and we weren't expecting, a lot of people weren't expecting much in terms of they thought that Kovalov was just going to come in and smash Alvarez down and keep it moving. But guess what? Kovalov wasn't on the game that night, and Alvarez was, and he ultimately was able to beat him. And then all kind of stuff started. All kind of articles were written about how Kovalov was finished, and even we said that before the fight even was over with, maybe a few days after the fight, you know, we did some research and found out they had a rematch clause in the fight, and they set it up for early on. Well, Buddy McGirt got Kovalov in the ring, and obviously he was motivated. And of course, man, what could I say about Kovalov, man? He came in this one and was able to really take control of this fight. He was brutal. You know, he hit Alvarez with some good shots. He was in his face. He was serious. He was determined. He felt You know, like he could have beat this guy the first time around and he played around with him, and that's pretty much what it was. And this time around, he was a whole different fighter. Now, before I give you the punch stats, Eddie, what was your take on Kovalov and Alvarez Part 2?
Oh, yeah, he definitely fought the fight he was supposed to fight. He was serious, and that look he had in his eyes, like, yo, he said, I'm taking this, man. There ain't no way in the world you're going to win this fight tonight. That's the look that Kovalov had. And, he, you know what I'm saying, like say, Buddy McGirt got him to fight the way he's supposed to be fighting and win the fight, not to try to be the crusher like everybody try to make him out to be. Going there and brawl and get hit with them body shots. You know, he's weak to the body. He kept the guy at a distance, so you couldn't really get the body shots off on him. So he definitely fought the perfect fight, man.
Yeah,
he fought smart. Yeah, he fought smart.
Yeah, I think you like you said, McGirt got them together. We look at the total power punches and the final punch stats for this Kovalov bout: 78 out of 166 for Alvarez for 47%. Kovalov 153 for 425 for 36%. That's power punches, which means landed to the body. 153 power punches to the body on a night. He threw 425 for a 36% connect percentage. Man, did you hear what I said? I mean, that's 153 power punches at the body. That's just a lot. I'm not too many people to take that. He really just broke Alvarez down. And of course, two judges had Kovalov ahead 116 to 112. The third judge didn't give Alvarez, who was 24-1, a single round, scoring at 120 to 108. And the 34, and then that's the third. That's Alvarez's first loss of his career. 35-year-old Colombian fighter, Sir Elad Alvarez, but he had his little 6 minutes of fame, and it kind of returns back to normal. Final thoughts on Kovalov and Elad Alvarez, Bassetti?
Yeah, like I say, it shows Kovalov have a lot of heart to get knocked out like he did and come back and win it, man. I'm impressed by that. Anybody who come back after getting their ass knocked out like that by a guy and come back and win it, you gotta respect somebody like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. He put on a fight, and ultimately a lot of talking behind it. But he came and showed what time it was, so big ups to Kovalov as he reclaims his throne, takes his belt back, and silences his critic. Moving on to the news side of the segment after the recaps. Let's talk about some news going on. And of course, Anthony Joshua, after he defeated and pummeled Povetkin last year, it's been a while, man. It's been some time since he had another bout that Povetkin fight was back in August of, what was it? Yeah, it was in August or September of last year. And he's itching to get back in the ring. Of course, he thought Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury would be ready for him after their bout in late in the year. But that just spurred more enthusiasm for the rematch between those two, as the WBC ordered both guys to a mandatory rematch there. So that is already on the horizon, and basically they're agreeing to the money. And that leaves Anthony Joshua out in the cold. So what do Anthony Joshua do? Of course, another bout was supposed to happen between him and Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte, after beating Derek Chisora, once again knocking him out, that they were supposed to match up and go at it part 2 of Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Well, I guess Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua, one of the two, didn't. They promised Whyte a shot, but ultimately Whyte felt disrespected by the money. He pulled out and went to fight somebody else, and that left Anthony Joshua without any suitors. And who would Anthony Joshua want to fight? I mean, seriously, there's only a handful of guys that I would actually want to see the 4-belt heavyweight champion fight, and Dillian Whyte was possibly one of those guys. He wasn't at the top of my list. I know ultimately Dillian Whyte did get better than what he was the first time they fought. But to be quite honest with you, it's just going to be the same result. Dillian Whyte, even though he's bigger, he's gotten bigger than what he was the first time around. But the reality situation is he still takes way too much punishment. That's the thing about Dillian Whyte that I don't like. He doesn't slip any punches. He takes way too much, and it's like, it's really telling. I watch him and I like the guy. He's a tough guy, but you're not going to stand up here and stand toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua and talk about brawling with this dude. This dude will plumber you. Everything he hits you with hurt. I mean, his hooks, straights, everything, man. You know, these guys in front of him, they're not just wimps and punks. I mean, Povetkin's one of the toughest fighters out there, and he just brutalized that guy. I mean, all these guys. Dominic Breazeale's not a bum. His only loss came up against Anthony Joshua. Ask Dominic Breazeale how Anthony Joshua's punches feel, because Dominic Breazeale is 6'7", Joshua's 6'6". So you can't say he has problems with taller fighters or smaller fighters. He beats them all. But at the end of the day, there was only a handful of fighters I really wanted to see him face. Jarrell Miller wasn't one of them, because I think he's tailor-made for an ass whooping. But I did like Luis Ortiz as a potential candidate, but everybody's still running from the boogeyman in the heavyweight division. But Eddie, before I go on about the rest of this, what are your thoughts on this matchup between? Because you like Jarrell Miller. I remember last year sometimes I asked you to give me one of your top 10 boxing lists. You threw Jarrell Big Baby Miller in there. You liked him. He's from, you know, nearby where you live. You know, right from where you come from. You like Jarrell Miller. Talk to me about this possible matchup, because it's, according to the reports that we get, and it's a done deal, that he will line up and fight Jarrell Miller, who said some stuff about Anthony Joshua's mama during a pre-fight that he wasn't even nothing to dealing with his ass. So what do you think about that potential matchup between Miller and Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, well, like I say, I think his style is definitely tailor-made for Anthony Joshua, because he's straight up and down, no special effects really. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, he can't keep taking up that type of combination punch from somebody like Joshua that hits hard like that. You know what I'm saying, your career won't last long at all. I think Miller, he was talking about Anthony Joshua's mom just so he can make sure that he gets the title shot. He talked his way into a title shot, but at the same time, you push the wrong buttons. You don't do that shit. So what's they might like a lot of fighters do that want to like, for instance, when Tyson did what he did to Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis could have been took him out, but he wanted to punish him, just like what Tyson did with what's his name, Donovan Razor Rudder. He punished him for 12 rounds, and he ain't never been the same afterwards. I think that's what Anthony Joshua wants to do with Jamel Miller. You know what I'm saying? He wants to punish him and make it in his career for what he said, man. So he better be on some A game when he fight Joshua. But like I said, I think it's gonna go the same way the Povetkin fight went.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's the same thing. You know, like you said, straight up and down, no special effects from Jarrell Miller. He doesn't bip. He doesn't dip and move. You know, he's a big guy as well. He's almost 300 pounds. You know, he lost a little weight. He can move a little bit better. But, man, I mean, you think you're going to stand toe-to-toe and make this a brawl with Anthony Joshua. And I don't know what I know Jarrell wants a shot at the championship because he think he is. But, you know, I've watched Jarrell Miller fight, and I like him a lot. I like his personality. He seems like a big, cool dude. But at the end of the day, be careful what you wish for, because you talked about the man, mama, to get a title fight. You got a title fight, and the man going to beat the hell out of Jarrell. I mean, Jarrell Miller couldn't knock out Gerald Washington, and Gerald Washington's build is near where Anthony Joshua, so he couldn't do nothing with Gerald Washington. So at the end of the day, and then prior to this fight where he knocked this other guy out, which he needed to knock out because the two previous fights he had were just really two fights that he was supposed to beat those guys, and he just couldn't do it. Couldn't get him out of the way. So when it comes down to it, you're right. I think Anthony Joshua's just going to beat Jarrell Miller up pretty bad. I don't know if he's going to knock him out. Chances are he probably will knock him out. I don't know if Jarrell Miller has ever faced punishment of somebody that's standing there and just beating on him like that. You know, this is going to be ugly, man. So, I mean, we're going to just keep an eye out on it. Jarrell Miller, man, don't talk about nobody, mama, man. You deserve to get your ass whooped. Anyway, moving on to the next fight. Terrence Crawford there, Fast Eddie. It's official, man. Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan to fight on ESPN pay-per-view April the 20th. It's a done deal, man. They already agreed to it. Crawford and Khan, what you think about that?
Oh, man, that's going to be a good one. You know what I'm saying? Amir Khan, you know what I'm saying? He's very dangerous in the first half of the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he got that speed and he can box his ass off. So, you know what I'm saying? I think the Terrence Crawford camp, they're going to come up with the perfect game plan. You know what I'm saying? I know for sure that he's going to be able to execute the game plan. You know what I'm saying? I look for Terrence Crawford to knock him out within 8. Before the 10th round, he's going to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? He's going to break him up. He's going to have his timing right to deal with Amir Khan's speed. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing beats speed but the timing. And with, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, with his timing, he's going to have to break his body down to get him to be more stationary so he can land them power shots on him. Like I say, Amir Khan, he got a lot of experience, man. He's been in with the best people, some of the best people and the hardest hitters, too. He don't have a good chin, but like I say, he got the experience, so that'd be a good fight for Crawford. I look for Crawford to take him out for the 10th round.
Yeah, you mentioned speed for speed. I think Terrence Crawford's a little bit faster than Amir Khan, although we know, and the thing that really hurts Amir Khan is he has that reputation of having a glass chin. So it's just a great fight for Terrence Crawford, I feel, because what it does is it introduces Terrence Crawford to an international level. Because Amir Khan is an international celebrity, basically. And I'm saying that Terrence Crawford isn't known, but obviously we know who's the bigger fighter in terms of popularity is Amir Khan. And to be able to be fighting Khan at an international level and out in front of everybody in April. Late April is a terrific move by the Terrence Crawford camp. Now, of course, I'm going to pick Terrence Crawford in this fight. I think Amir Khan is a guy it's tailor-made for Terrence Crawford to take out of it. He's a little faster than some of the other fighters. The last few fighters that he's fought, Terrence Crawford's fought, but that's nothing for Terrence Crawford. You're going to see a master boxer on display. The guy fights equally well, whether it's orthodox or southpaw. It don't make any difference. Terrence Crawford can fight you. He can confuse you. He can move around you. He can power. He has the ability to knock you out. He can throw punches in bunches. He's a very smart and cold, calculating fighter. He doesn't take stupid risks and chances. He's not going to go into clubs and dance around and talk mess during the press conference like some stupid fighters that don't know how to let their hands go. This guy is going to come here. He's going to fight, and he's going to show the world. He's going to take Amir Khan. This is going to be a boxing exhibition for Terrence Crawford. He's going to take Amir Khan apart, and this is going to open up bigger doors for Terrence Crawford, man. And I think it's terrific, and I got to give him credit because he brings that real star power to the welters. As you see the rest of the welters running from each other, this guy is fighting who he wants, fighting really good fighters and letting people know, listen, I'm the true champion in this division. I really do think, even though you hear Errol Spence calling them out and all this kind of stuff, boxers aren't supposed to talk as much as these guys talk. That's why they got a ring, and that's why you're a boxer. You can make it happen, make the deal happen. So I don't want to hear no more talking from Errol Spence. Just focus on trying to deal with Mikey Garcia, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's 50-50 that you're going to come out of that one. So when it comes down to it, Amir Khan, Terrence Crawford set up ESPN pay-per-view on April the 20th. The venue have not been decided, so that's just some fresh information coming right at you. Okay, Eddie, moving to the next fight, we're talking about Canelo. We keep rolling down these big fighters, man. And when you're talking big fighters, you got to talk about one of the biggest in the game, and that's Canelo Alvarez. They have already picked about, it's going to be in the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas on May the 4th. It's going down fast, Eddie. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas for the middleweight world title unification fight between Daniel Jacobs and, of course, Canelo Alvarez. What do you think about this fight?
That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a real good one. In the first half of the fight, I see Danny Jacobs, looking impressive until that pressure starts to get to him that Alvarez is gonna put on him and start breaking him down. And then the second half of the fight, I think he's gonna set the knockout. I think he might set the knockout and knock Jacobs out. Like I say, Canelo be on that level and Jacobs know what he's dealing with, it's going to bring a whole nother level in deep inside of Danny Jacobs. It's going to come out. It's going to have to come out. He knows that it have to come out. So he's going to look good, man. So it's going to be a good fight. Definitely going to be a good fight.
Danny Jacobs 35-2 with 29 knockouts. 32 of Brooklyn, New York, primarily East Coast fighter. Fight with Alvarez will be Jacobs' first fight in Las Vegas since his title fight, and his first loss, which was that 5th round knockout to Dmitry Pirog back in 2010. It's going to be an excellent fight, man. No doubt about it. Like you said, Eddie. Now, Canelo Alvarez, man, 50-1 with 34 knockouts. He's just 28. And, man, he said it felt right for him to go back to the T-Mobile Arena. And, I mean, it's going to be huge. May the 4th be a really good fight. Of course, Canelo is going to break him down in the second half of the fight. I like Jacobs as a skill fighter. It's going to be a better fight than a lot of people realize. They're thinking Canelo's just going to bust this guy to pieces. This is a very tough fighter. It's going to be a very, very, very good fight. And ultimately, you know, Canelo is going to end up coming out because I think eventually he's going to break Danny Jacobs down, man. You know, it just gets around that fourth or fifth of that sixth round, man, and those Canelo blows start adding up. So I think I appreciate Danny Jacobs because he's going to put on a fight. It's just that's why Canelo is one of the top in the game. He's going to end up breaking them down. Moving on.
Canelo body shots ain't no joke, man. He can withstand them joints, man. You definitely got to be a tough dude to be able to withstand them body shots. Like I say, them head shots, I'm saying you can shake them off, but them body shots stick with you like luggage and shit. You definitely you have to prepare your body to be able to withstand that type of punishment to the body, man. Or, you know what I'm saying, know how to move to take some of the steam off them punches, them body punches. Like roll with them with your, you know what I'm saying, use your elbows to block that stuff, man. You can't let them get into that rib cage and them damn kidney shots and all that, man. You ain't going to be able to withstand that from... I'm quite sure Danny Jacobs know that, so that's why I say it's gonna bring a whole nother level out of Danny Jacobs, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. It's gonna be a good one, though.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna be a good one. May 4th in the T-Mobile Arena. Also, more information. Let's go to our next news item. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury setting up for another bout, perhaps. Dates are being kicked around. Some people are saying, according to Boxing Scene, they're saying this could possibly be somewhere in May the 18th. You know, so somewhere in May, they're looking at middle May, late May for the rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Now, currently, the purse bid's being postponed to allow both the camps an extension dealing with the negotiation period for the rematch. Of course, the WBC ordered the rematch. The suckers got a taste of the money in the pay-per-view, and they want that rematch despite the fact that Dominic Breazeale is Deontay Wilder's mandatory for his belt. Tyson Fury makes more sense because he's a bigger draw. And, of course, the greedy boxing people going to want the money. They don't necessarily care about the right order. They pretend at times, but they're going to chase the money. Tyson Fury is a big mouth, and he's a big name in the game. He can fight. He's a big guy. He can fight. Very likable character. And showed a lot of charisma and charm during the pre-fight talks. And then after the fight, after, you know, his ringmanship, after how he lost the fight, even though we know he actually won that fight. But it just really impressed me about Tyson Fury, his ringmanship and what kind of dude he is, man. And how he was talking and stuff like that. I just grew to admire his boxing charisma. So this is another one, Eddie. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury Part 2. I said when we recapped the fight before, I think it's a mistake for Deontay Wilder to step in the ring with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury wasn't going for the knockout against Deontay Wilder. Had he been just a little bit more aggressive, not saying whole aggressive, but controlled aggression, to take more advantage of some of his opportunities that he had, because he could have doubled Deontay Wilder up. He could have threw a few more punches and bunches because Deontay Wilder was open a lot for him to do that, and he could have really drove the point home. This time around, I don't think he fights him the same. This time around, he felt his power, so it won't be such a surprise. This time around, who has the more mental advantage, being that Deontay Wilder put him on the ring twice, and the second time he hit him with something fierce. The man rolled down, hit the ground. People thought he was gone. The man got up after his eyes rolled back in his head. He got up and fought the fight and really took control of the round after that. So, I mean, who has the mental advantage in this fight between Wilder and Fury here?
I think Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? I think he took maybe like a week or two off after the fight and got back to training, so he's going to be a lot more sharper. And like you said, he knows what to expect now from Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder is going to definitely have to correct the mistakes that he made at that fight, just looking for that one big punch instead of throwing combination. It makes it difficult for any fighter to deal with combination punches, especially if they're hard coming at you. You know what I'm saying? It has you thinking more defense as opposed to you just throwing one big shot. They're like, okay, he's throwing one big shot. I can adjust to that. But it's hard to it's more harder to adjust to somebody's throwing combination of punches. You know, it's like when Deontay Wilder did throw combination, he was able to put Fury down. But like I say, Fury definitely is going to be a lot more sharper, and he knows what to expect. So, you know what I'm saying? I think he going, you know what I'm saying? He might outbox. He may win by decision.
Another question to you, Eddie, because you when you was answering that question, it put another question in my head about Deontay Wilder this time. Now, coming from the Deontay Wilder angle, he beat him. In his mind, he beat him. He retained his title. To most people that watched the fight, Deontay Wilder just went away from whatever he was trying to do. I don't know what his trainer was attempting to do to get him to box, even though some people just it's getting harder for him to just shake the label of a knockout artist, because most of the people that he's fought, he never had an opportunity to kind of sharpen his skills in the ring, because most of the opponents that he faced, he just knocks them out. Of course, the last two fights that he fought against the best fighters that he's ever fought in his entire career, which was against Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury, that's a step up in competition. But with both those fighters, there were obvious flaws in Deontay Wilder's game, despite his heart and his attempt to come through, relying too much on the knockout punch. Coming around to this next time when he fights, coming up against Tyson Fury, being that Tyson Fury is a very intelligent fighter, and we know what he's going to bring. He's going to be a little bit more aggressive in trying to secure a knockout against Deontay Wilder, not going for the knockout, but picking his spots. And he did a really good job at that, of dipping and diving and frustrating Deontay Wilder. What makes you think in the second fight that Deontay Wilder will stick to the game plan that he didn't stick to in the first fight and just become a knockout one-punch artist against a guy like Tyson Fury?
Well, if he don't, he's going to lose. I'm quite sure he knows that. And like I say, he's like Tyson Fury is the first fighter that really got into Deontay Wilder's head. You know, sticking his tongue at him, like, you know, talking to him while he fights and shit. Even though this new dude getting hit with hard ass punches, he's still like, he had Deontay Wilder thinking that like, this guy must be crazy and shit. Get up off after get hit like that. And this nigga, I'm hitting this nigga with hard shit, and this motherfucker sticking his tongue at me and shit. That had to get to him mentally, man. That's why he kept going for them big ass bombs. Like, I gotta knock this motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? It's just mad you hit somebody with your best shit and this motherfucker smiling at you, talking shit to you. That gotta do something to you, man. You know what I'm saying? You like, man, what the fuck? Nigga talking shit and he get hit with hard shit too. He got dropped and he's still talking shit and coming back, throwing more. I'm like, that had to get to him, man. So if you don't make the adjustments in the training camp and be able to execute like combination punches, man, he know he's gonna lose that fight. He gonna get outboxed. I don't think Tyson Fury can knock him out, but he's definitely gonna outbox him, man. He gonna win. He can win by a unanimous decision if Deontay Wilder's not. If he don't make the corrections he need to make. But like I say, he ain't spend enough time in the ring to really develop that. But we'll see, man.
Well, he's at the top of his game right now, heavyweight champion. Never been as popular as he is now. This will be a pivotal opportunity right here for Tyson Fury. I don't see Tyson Fury passing this up and losing 2 fights in a row like this. He's going to be wholly determined. Deontay Wilder, man, I just think that this is a bad move. I got bad feelings with this one. I think Deontay Wilder shouldn't take this fight against Tyson Fury. He beat him. I think he should move on and fight Anthony Joshua. I mean, there is no more easy fights if you're at this level. I mean, when you fighting at this level, there's no easy fights unless he decides to fight Dominic Breazeale, which I would say that's the easier fight out of fighting a Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua. But in the end, if you really want the belts, I wouldn't take this fight against Tyson Fury. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. I would fight Anthony Joshua. That's what I would do. That's just me. I would just fight Anthony Joshua. I'm just saying, I'm not running from Tyson, but I know at the end of the day, this guy's a better fighter. I mean, what does Deontay have on him besides the power game? I mean, go fight Anthony Joshua. If you're gonna risk it all, go risk it for some belts. Beat the guy. I mean, you have nothing to gain here by fighting, and you can make more money fighting Anthony Joshua than you would fight a Tyson Fury. You're just fighting Tyson Fury just to spite Anthony Joshua because he wouldn't give you the fight. This is childish. So if anything, if you want to risk it all and talk about risk and about what fighters do in the ring, if you really wanted to make sense, you fought Tyson Fury, you beat him, go on, fight Anthony Joshua for his belts, because he has 4 versus your 1. If it's all about risks and money, and respect. Champions fight champions, and he's really upset that corner. His camp is mad at Hearns and his camp because they wouldn't give him the fight early on because he felt disrespected about the split. So I mean, at the end of the day, now they're going to do this thing with Tyson Fury, and I would advise Tyson Fury camp too, because Anthony Joshua says I'll fight either one of them, and if I'm, and obviously Tyson Fury, he's not a chump, he's not a clown. He knows that he stands a better chance of beating Deontay Wilder than he does beating Anthony Joshua. I'm gonna just tell you straight up. We both know where that's going.
It's funny how Joshua really come over here to fight Miller too.
Yes.
But he wouldn't. Yeah, but when it come down to him fighting Wilder over here, it was a big problem. Man. That's funny too. What? I guess what Tyson Fury was saying. I'll go to his backyard. I'll go to his backyard. I don't care where to fight. I'll come to your backyard and fight. You know what I'm saying? That's a real champ right there, man.
It is.
Yeah. You can't really go anywhere. Like, look, I'll fight you anytime, anywhere. Like, I'll fight you in the telephone booth.
You're right on that. I think Hearns wanted to expose Anthony Joshua to the U.S. market. He's never fought in the U.S. before. In order to be considered a well-known and respected fighter, you can't fight in Europe all your fights. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to come here and fight a fight and make it count. You know what I'm saying? If you're the champion, a guy, you feel comfortable fighting in front of 100,000 fans in Wembley, which is fine and dandy, but it's a smart move by Hearns to bring Anthony Joshua to the U.S. to fight Gerald Miller, and they're trying to get Madison Square Garden for this fight. So, or if not, then the Barclays Center. So, either way, because Gerald Miller's from the New York area, it'll be big for all the New Yorkers to come out and watch their guy fight up against Anthony Joshua. I just think it's a smart fight to have in the New York media, the largest in the country. So it'll expose him to a major industry, and especially when he brutalizes Jarrell Miller, it'll wake a lot of people up. And really, after he beats Jarrell Miller, there's nowhere to go for Anthony Joshua except for I want to see the Luis Ortiz fight. I'm sorry. I mean, I would like to see, but these guys looking for money, they don't want to risk it. Anthony, is only 3 guys that's really that everybody wants to see, and that's going to be Joshua, Wilder, and Tyson Fury. Those are the 3 biggest names in the heavyweight division. Anyway, before we get out of here, any last thoughts on Ring Kings boxing you want to bring up?
Yeah, I'm saying, all them boxing fans out there, start giving the women their props, man. They doing great work, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Carissa Shields, all them great champions out there, them undisputed women champions that fighting each other, championship fights. I got mad respect for them. They doing a lot. They're accomplishing a lot more than what a lot of men are doing. Like Carissa Shields is a 2-time gold medalist and an undisputed champion. A lot of male boxers can't say that it was 2-time Olympian champion, man. None of them can say that, but none of them was. That's very impressive, man. That's it.
Big ups to the ladies. Carissa Shields is a true champion. They got a lot of really good women boxing right now. The men can learn a lot from the women right now, because the women, the best fighting the best, and they're not doing all that talking. The women want to they settle it in the ring, and that's funny that the women doing it, and the women get blamed for doing more talking than what a man do, but the man is doing the talking. The men running off in the mouth in the welterweight division as opposed to fighting each other. We don't want to hear you talk at each other like Errol Spence was doing when he was drunk that night, talking about you can put his fighters up against my fighters. I beat the same kind of fighters or better fighters than we fought. Forget all that, man. Settle it in the ring like you're supposed to. But anyway, that'll do it for Ring Kings Boxing today. I'd like to thank y'all for joining us on the 1 hour Powercast as we broke down all the latest boxing news. If you're a Ring King boxing fan and you enjoy it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Those links in the description section below, so you can also support our sponsors. You can join our social media. All that's in the links in the description section below. From me and Fast Said It to me, yeah, Ring Kings Boxing. Thank you for joining us tonight. Peace.
Peace.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Network, and support the true independent artists.